What if I told you that the worst things that have ever happened to you were actually the best? Today, we're diving into a powerful and, let's be honest, a pretty counterintuitive idea that our most difficult, painful experiences aren't just things we have to survive. They're actually the main source of our deepest wisdom and our greatest strength. So let's just start with a question that gets right to the heart of everything. We're hardwired for survival, right? That means avoid pain, seek pleasure. It's pure instinct. But what if that very instinct is the thing that's holding us back from who we could become? What if leaning into the difficulty is the real secret? And this right here captures the choice we're facing every single day. On one side, you've got comfort. It promises safety, ease, predictability, and that sounds amazing, doesn't it? But on the other side, there's pain. It doesn't promise anything easy. It teaches. It teaches you resilience, real wisdom, and genuine growth. We're constantly picking a side here, a lot of the time without even knowing it. And that choice, well, that leads us right into our first big idea, what we're calling the comfort trap. It makes total sense why we do this. We create routines, we stay in jobs we know, we avoid risks, all to minimize the chance of getting hurt. But the core idea here is that this comfort zone isn't really a safe harbor. It's a cage. It might be a nice, gilded cage, sure, but it's still a cage that keeps us from ever finding out what we're truly capable of. So if comfort is the trap, what's the alternative? Well, that brings us to the whole theme of this explainer, this idea of wisdom forged in pain. And listen, this isn't just some nice philosophical idea. It's a real, documented thing in psychology. It's called post-traumatic growth. It's the phenomenon where people who go through incredibly tough times don't just bounce back, they actually experience profound positive growth. It's the idea that trauma doesn't just have to be something you survive. It can literally be the catalyst for becoming a better version of yourself. And this quote wow, it captures the idea perfectly. A crucible, it's that pot they use to melt down metal at insane temperatures, to purify it and forge it into something new and strong. The metaphor is so clear. Our suffering is that fire. It's the crucible that can burn away all the trivial stuff and forge a stronger, wiser you. So, how does this process of forging wisdom actually happen? Well, we can break it down into 5 key lessons. 5 brutal truths that pain teaches us, which, by the way, comfort does everything it can to hide from us. First up is a truth I think every single one of us has felt deep in our bones. Truth number 1, rejection is redirection. It hurts. There's no question about it. But think about it. Every no you get, whether it's from a job or a relationship, it's basically closing a door to a path that wasn't meant for you anyway. It forces you to find another way, to pivot. And in that process, you end up discovering strengths you had no idea were in you. It's like a workout for your emotional immune system. All right, truth number 2. And this one is a total game changer, especially if you're trying to build or create anything. Failure is not who you are. Failure is just data. The funny thing about success is that a lot of times you don't even know exactly why it worked. But when you fail, you get very specific, very clear information about what went wrong. Every failure is a lesson. It's a critical stepping stone. You can't find a single great inventor or artist who didn't have a huge pile of failures that gave them the data they needed to finally get it right. This third truth, it's a tough one to talk about, but it is incredibly important. Loss clarifies what truly matters. When we lose something or someone we love, the pain can feel bottomless. But that intense pain, it has this powerful side effect. It acts like a filter. It just strips away all the petty anxieties, all the trivial little things we worry about every day. When you're faced with a real loss, you are forced to see what is absolutely essential. And it can completely realign your life around what you truly value. Our fourth truth is an idea that's as old as time, and for good reason, because it's fundamentally true. Hardship forges character. It's just like going to the gym, right? You cannot build muscle without resistance. It's the pushing against the weight that makes you stronger. And it's exactly the same for your character. A life with no challenges, just pure comfort, it makes us soft. It's by pushing through adversity that we build real grit and a deep, earned confidence in ourselves. And all of this leads to our 5th and final brutal truth. This is the one that ties it all together. Pain isn't some accident that happens on the way to a good life. Pain is the price of admission for a meaningful life. Seriously, think about it. What actually gives life meaning? Love, purpose, creating something, connection? Every single one of those things carries a huge risk of pain. If you love someone, you risk loss. If you create something, you risk failure. To try and live a life that's completely free of pain, well, that would be a life without any deep engagement at all, a life lived on the sideline. So, after going through all these hard truths, what's the payoff? What do we actually get out of it? That's what we're going to cover in this next part, the gifts of adversity. So here's the key. This isn't a passive process. It's an active one. This is basically the roadmap. First, you have to actually confront the difficulty. No running, no numbing. Then, you have to actively look for the lesson. What's the data here? After that, you integrate it. You weave that lesson into your story, into who you are now. And that's how you grow. That's how you emerge not just healed, but actually stronger. And if you want to see this whole idea in a single snapshot, this chart says it all. Where does our lasting wisdom really come from? Sure, we learn a little from our comfortable experiences, but look at that. The overwhelming majority, the stuff that really shapes who we are, it comes from navigating challenges. The hard times are, by far, our best teachers. Okay, let's bring this all home now. Let's talk about taking this idea and actually applying it to your own path. If you take only one thing away from our time together today, please let it be this. We're all taught to think that pain is the enemy, the thing to be avoided at all costs, but it's not. The real enemy, the real threat to a life well lived, is stagnation. It's staying in that comfortable cage and never growing. And so we end here. Life will present you with a fire. It will hand you the crucible. That part is a guarantee. The challenges are coming. So the only question left, the one that only you can answer, is, what will you forge?